Hello friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel Vocab and Phrases. Today I am going to share with you some tips that will help you in your English learning journey. So let's get started. Talking in English today is essential for personal growth, professional development, and navigating the interconnected world we live in. It enhances career prospects, increases access to global knowledge and culture, and allows individuals to participate fully in a globalized society. Whether for business, travel, or education, fluency in English opens up numerous opportunities and makes one more adaptable in the modern world. Speaking English regularly is the most effective way to become fluent. You can practice by speaking with a tutor, talking to yourself, or planning conversations. Fluency does not come in one day. You have to practice daily because practice makes man perfect. When I was in my learning period, I used to listen to native speakers regularly. I used to see English movies, dramas, songs, and stories daily. So that I could be fluent in English, it helped me a lot, like how to pronounce the word, how to speak confidently, how to use words in the sentences. When you listen to someone speak, you are not only understanding the words they are saying, but you are also picking up on their tone, rhythm, and pronunciation. Okay, let's talk about how you can become proficient in English. So I'm going to tell you the story of 3 people who wanted to learn English and what they actually did. I hope this helps you in your learning journey. Okay, then without further ado, let's get started. First, Maria's journey to fluency. Maria is a young woman from Brazil who has always wanted to speak English fluently, but she felt nervous about her accent and worried about making mistakes. One day, she decided to take a more proactive approach to learning. She committed to spending 30 minutes a day on improving her English skills and broke it down into manageable steps. Building a foundation. Maria realized she needed to start with the basics. So, for the first month, she focused on learning simple grammar rules and expanding her vocabulary. Every morning, she spent 15 minutes reading a language learning book and writing down new words in a notebook. She also started using an English vocabulary app to practice vocabulary and sentence structures. By the end of the month, Maria had learned 300 new words and felt more comfortable forming simple sentences. Speaking every day. At the beginning, Maria was afraid to speak English, but she knew that speaking was essential for improving her fluency. So, she joined an online language exchange program where she could talk to native speakers who wanted to learn Portuguese. Every evening, she would have a 20-minute conversation with a partner on online language exchange program. At first, Maria stumbled over words and felt embarrassed. But her partner was always patient and encouraging. After a few weeks, Maria felt less anxious and started speaking more confidently. She noticed that her vocabulary was expanding, and she could express herself more clearly. She also made a habit of repeating phrases she heard in movies or podcasts, mimicking the pronunciation and intonation to improve her accent, immersing herself in English. Maria wanted to accelerate her progress, so she immersed herself in the language. She changed the language settings on her phone and social media to English, making English a part of her daily life. She also started watching movies and TV shows in English with English subtitles, which helped her connect the spoken word with its written form. Every time she didn't understand a word, she would pause, look it up, and add it to her vocabulary list. One day, she decided to watch an episode of a popular TV show without subtitles. To her surprise, she understood most of the conversation. Maria felt proud of how far she had come. Writing and getting feedback. Maria also practiced writing in English. She started by writing a daily journal, where she described her day in English. She would write about simple things, like what she ate for lunch or how she felt about her English lessons. Every week, she would post a short blog entry in English on a language learning forum, where native speakers gave feedback. This helped her identify common mistakes, like when to use a versus an, and allowed her to improve her grammar, consistency, and overcoming challenges. After a few months, Maria still made mistakes, but she didn't let them discourage her. She set small goals each week, learning 10 new words, watching one English movie, or writing a longer paragraph. She celebrated each milestone, whether it was understanding a tricky grammar rule or speaking more confidently during a conversation. One weekend, she decided to travel to an English-speaking country for a short vacation. When she arrived, she realized how much her language skills had improved. She could easily order food at restaurants, ask for directions, and even chat with locals about everyday topics. The confidence boost she gained from this trip motivated her to continue practicing even more. The result: by the end of the year, Maria's English had improved dramatically. She could hold conversations effortlessly, understand movies without subtitles, and even read books in English. Her confidence had grown, and she no longer feared making mistakes. Maria had learned that fluency didn't come overnight, but was the result of consistent effort, practice, and stepping out of her comfort zone. The key takeaways: start with small steps, begin with the basics, whether it's learning grammar or vocabulary. Speak regularly, even if it feels uncomfortable. Speaking every day builds confidence and fluency. Immerse yourself. Surround yourself with English through media, social media, and real-life conversations. Track progress and celebrate milestones. Recognize your growth and enjoy the journey. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are a part of the learning process and help you improve. Through Maria's story, you can see how a mix of consistent practice, immersion, and a positive mindset can lead to fluency. Second, Jake's journey to mastering fluent communication. Jake was a 24-year-old from a small town in Texas. He had grown up speaking English all his life, but he often struggled with being fully confident in his communication, especially in professional settings. He found himself hesitating when speaking during meetings, unsure of how to express his ideas clearly, though he never had trouble with basic English. Jake wanted to improve his fluency. He felt his vocabulary and ability to articulate thoughts could use work. Identifying the problem: it wasn't that Jake didn't speak English. He did every day. But after a series of awkward moments in his job as a marketing assistant, he realized that he needed to refine his speaking and writing skills. During presentations, Jake would sometimes fumble over words or struggle to find the right phrase to convey his point. At times, he noticed his coworkers, particularly those from more urban areas, seemed to speak more smoothly and persuasively. Jake decided he wanted to improve his English to sound more confident and professional, especially in a work environment. He set himself a goal: by the end of the year, he wanted to be able to present ideas more clearly, write better reports, and have more confidence in meetings. Expanding vocabulary and reading. Jake knew that expanding his vocabulary would help him sound more polished. He started by reading more, something he hadn't done much of since high school. He picked up novels, newspapers, and business magazines that were both interesting and challenging. As he read, he kept a notebook where he jotted down new words and phrases. For example, while reading a book on marketing, he came across the phrase thought leadership. Jake didn't know what it meant at first, so he wrote it down, researched it, and learned how it was used in the context of business. This not only expanded his vocabulary but also helped him to understand how certain words were used more naturally in professional language. Practicing writing skills. Though Jake spoke English every day, he realized his writing could be more concise and professional. So, he began writing more at work, emailing his team with updates, drafting reports, and even writing blogs for the company website. At first, he found it difficult to organize his thoughts clearly, but he started using grammar tools to spot mistakes and improve sentence structure. He also took an online course on writing for business communication. This helped him understand how to craft emails with a clear purpose, avoid unnecessary jargon, and write in a more straightforward and impactful way. By focusing on his writing for several months, Jake became more confident when communicating with clients and coworkers. Improving speaking skills. Jake knew that improving his speaking skills would require active practice. He began recording himself during practice presentations, speaking on topics he would be expected to present at work. When he listened back to the recordings, he realized that he spoke too quickly and used filler words like and like frequently. He worked on slowing down his speech and pausing when necessary to gather his thoughts. Jake also took a public speaking course at a local community center. This helped him learn how to structure his presentations and speak with more clarity and confidence. He learned how to make eye contact with an audience, project his voice, and avoid distracting mannerisms. By practicing regularly and receiving feedback, he gained confidence in speaking clearly in front of others, immersing himself in varied English environments. Jake recognized that to truly master fluent communication, he needed to immerse himself in diverse English environments. He started attending networking events, workshops, and conferences, where he could speak with people from different industries and backgrounds. This helped him adjust to varying speaking styles and broaden his perspective. At home, he also started listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos on topics like leadership and marketing. He found that by listening to professionals speak about their fields, he could improve his listening skills and understand different ways to frame his ideas. Overcoming confidence issues. The hardest part for Jake was overcoming his own doubts about his communication abilities. Even after months of practicing, he sometimes felt nervous before meetings or presentations. But he realized that confidence was built through experience. So, he pushed himself to speak up more at work, offer ideas in meetings, and volunteer to give presentations, even when he felt unsure. One day, after several months of practice, Jake was asked to present a marketing plan to a group of potential clients. This was a big moment for him. When he stood in front of the room, he realized that he was speaking clearly, without hesitation, and using the new vocabulary he had learned. He was able to communicate his ideas effectively, and the clients responded positively. The result: by the end of the year, Jake had transformed his communication skills. His vocabulary had expanded. His writing was more professional, and his speaking was more confident. He was no longer afraid to speak up during meetings, and he could present ideas clearly without fear of making mistakes. The key takeaways: expand your vocabulary, regularly read books, articles, and other materials to learn new words and phrases. Practice writing. Use everyday work or personal projects to practice writing clearly and concisely. Record yourself speaking. This helps identify areas for improvement, like pacing and filler words. Take courses and workshops. Public speaking and business writing courses can help you refine communication skills. Push through self-doubt. Confidence grows with experience. Don't be afraid to speak and make mistakes. Jake's story highlights that even native speakers can work on their fluency by refining specific skills, embracing new learning opportunities, and overcoming the barriers of self-doubt. Fluency in English or any language requires continuous learning and practice. Third, Ayesha's journey to English fluency. Ayesha, a 28-year-old woman from Chennai, India, had always spoken Tamil at home and Hindi with her friends. While she had learned English in school, she often found herself struggling with it in professional settings. Her job as a software engineer required her to communicate with international clients, but she often felt insecure about her English. She understood the importance of English in her career advancement and personal growth. So Ayesha decided to make it a priority to improve her fluency, building confidence with speaking. Ayesha realized that the biggest barrier to her fluency was her fear of speaking English. She was comfortable reading and writing English, but when it came to speaking, she hesitated and feared making mistakes. Her colleagues often spoke English fluently, which made her feel nervous and self-conscious. Determined to overcome this, Ayesha started small. She began practicing speaking every day, starting with simple sentences at home. She would describe her day in English, speaking aloud to herself in front of the mirror. This helped her gain confidence in her speaking skills. Soon, she joined an online language exchange program, where she could talk to English speakers who wanted to learn Tamil. Ayesha would speak with them for 30 minutes every day. In the beginning, it was challenging, and there were a lot of awkward silences. But with each conversation, she improved. She learned to embrace mistakes and saw them as learning opportunities. Expanding vocabulary. To sound more confident and natural in conversations, Aisha knew she had to expand her vocabulary. She started by reading English newspapers, books, and magazines. She would underline new words and phrases, then look them up in a dictionary or use online tools like Google Translate. She created a vocabulary list in her notebook, categorizing words by themes such as business, technology, and everyday life. Aisha also started listening to podcasts and watching TED Talks on topics of interest. By listening to professionals discuss their fields in English, she was exposed to specialized vocabulary that she could use in her own work. This not only expanded her vocabulary but also helped her improve her pronunciation and understanding of different accents. Writing with precision. Aisha realized that she could express herself more clearly by improving her writing skills. She decided to focus on writing emails, reports, and even personal blog posts in English. She also enrolled in an online business writing course, where she learned how to write more professionally and structure her thoughts more effectively. She paid attention to grammar and sentence construction. Slowly, she became more comfortable drafting work emails and reports without constantly second-guessing herself. At work, her newfound writing skills helped her communicate more efficiently with clients. She could now send clear, concise emails, write technical reports, and even write blog posts for the company's website. Learning through immersion. Aisha knew that immersion was key to becoming fluent in English. She began watching English language movies and TV shows, especially those that were relevant to her industry. For example, she watched tech-focused documentaries and coding tutorials in English, which helped her become more familiar with industry-specific terms. She also started following English-speaking influencers, motivational speakers, and business leaders on social media. Their posts and videos gave her real-world examples of how people spoke English fluently and confidently. She mimicked their tone and style, paying attention to the way they phrased their thoughts. Aisha began to engage in conversations in English not only with colleagues but also with friends and family. She started texting in English and even read stories to her younger cousins in English. This immersion helped her to start thinking in English, rather than translating her thoughts from Tamil to English, which made her communication faster and more fluid. Taking professional development seriously. As Aisha's English improved, she started taking on more responsibilities at work, including client-facing roles. One of her biggest achievements was successfully leading a meeting with an international client from the UK. Although she was nervous at first, her preparation and practice paid off. She communicated her ideas clearly, answered questions confidently, and built a strong rapport with the client. Aisha's manager noticed her improved communication skills and offered her a promotion to a senior role. The promotion not only gave her more challenging tasks but also increased her exposure to high-level clients from different parts of the world. Overcoming setbacks. Aisha's journey wasn't without challenges. At times, she felt overwhelmed, especially when dealing with complex technical terms in English. Sometimes she would still stumble over words or get nervous during important meetings. However, she didn't let these setbacks discourage her. Instead, she viewed them as part of the process and pushed through. She joined an English-speaking club where professionals gathered to practice their language skills. This provided a safe environment for Aisha to keep practicing, receive feedback, and learn from others who were also working on improving their communication skills. The result. After a year of consistent effort, Aisha's English fluency had dramatically improved. She could now speak confidently with international clients, present ideas at conferences, and write reports and emails with clarity and precision. She felt more professional and empowered in her job, and her promotion to a senior position confirmed her progress. Aisha's story shows that with dedication, practice, and the right strategies, anyone can improve their English fluency, whether they're a native speaker or a non-native speaker. For Aisha, improving her English wasn't just about mastering grammar or vocabulary. It was about gaining the confidence to express herself fully in a globalized world. Key takeaways from Ayesha's journey. Practice speaking regularly. Find ways to speak English daily, even if it's just talking to yourself or practicing with a language partner. Expand your vocabulary. Read, listen to podcasts, and watch content in English to discover new words and phrases. Write more. Practice writing emails, reports, and personal content to improve your clarity and grammar. Immerse yourself. Engage with English content, movies, books, social media to improve your understanding and thinking in English. Be persistent. Overcome self-doubt and setbacks by continuing to practice and celebrate small victories along the way. Ayesha's journey demonstrates that fluency in English comes through consistent effort, practice, and the willingness to push through challenges. It's not just about learning the language. It's about using it confidently in all areas of life.